Welcome to Obstacle Running Adventures,
the podcast that fuels your passion for obstacle course racing, running, and adventure.
Since 2017, we have released weekly episodes for the seasoned pros,
weekend warriors, and everything in between.
We discuss the industry news, travel for live coverage,
and interview athletes and key voices in the athletic community.
We cover it all, from fundraising events, personal trials,
to world records, FKTs, and world championships.
Standing on the corner.
Now let's get started with your hosts.
Lost all my clothes.
Michael Stefano and Caitlin Ritter.
Hey guys, it's Michael Stefano.
And Caitlin Ritter.
And Caitlin, how was your weekend?
What did we do this weekend? Nothing.
I wouldn't say nothing. I did a 2-mile hike with Lucy, and it was the hardest 2 miles I've ever done in my life.
I did my long run on Friday, and then I did lower body work and a 30-minute run, and my legs were tight and heavy this morning.
Yeah, well, you're progressing, so that's good. I found out a way to make it so I wake up in the morning and my back doesn't hurt as much. I just have to sleep with a pillow between my legs like an old man. So then my hips were sore, but not my back, and I'll take my hips being sore. So, wild, but...
It is wild.
I just can't tweak my back anymore. It hurts so bad. But yeah, I'll be back at it eventually as well. Give a shout out to our sponsors.
Mudgear, use code ADVENTURE for 15% off your next Mudgear purchase. And Caterpie, we just got new Caterpie laces in the mail.
Yeah, for myself, yourself, and our neighbor.
Yes. We can't decide if he was being funny or not when he told me he didn't know how to tie his shoes.
That sounds like his sense of humor, but at the same time, he has special needs, I think, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, use code at OCR Report 20 for 20% off your next Caterpie purchase. You can also use OCR Report 20 for 20% off your next Spartan, Deca, or Tough Mudder event.
Perfect. And shout out to the OCR Report for being a great home for us on the internet, and to Will Hicks.
The birthday boy.
Yeah, today. Right? Yeah, check it out over at the OCRreport.com. Again, we will be doing a live stream at Citi Field, so please reach out to Jason Dupree or us if you're interested in being a rabbit. I'll be doing finish line interviews and stuff, but I hope to help him in any way that I can, like set up and stuff like that. Should be fun.
Mikey, you forgot the Patreons.
Did I?
Yep.
Oh, I scrolled too far. And shout out to our Patreon supporters, the $5+ patron supporters, because it's not the first of the month right now.
Jason Dupree, Samantha Thompson, Bradley Keel, Charlotte Engelman, Aaron Grindstaff, Laura and Stephen Ritter, Hank and Arlene Stefano, Cheryl Miller, Jessica Johnson, Christopher Hoover, Kevin Gregory Jr., Evan Irick, Brent George, Logan Nagel, Seth Renderganesh, Steve Bacon, Robert Landman, and Jules Estes.
And that's not the first time we've read the patron names today, because we did the February Patreon video, which should be up soon. My hair is still a mess.
You're going to get a new haircut, right?
Yes, yeah, we'll see.
Heck yeah.
It's tough, because I go in the barber, it's like, hey, what do you want? Like, the usual. Like
This man's been cutting your hair for...
all of my life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's time for change.
Yeah, I've had different hairstyles. It's just...
No, you've had the same hairstyle, just different lengths.
Maybe. No, I used to have, like, the wax. And it would, like, hit my forehead and go up and go poof, 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 poof. It hurt my teeth. So stupid. And then it'd be, like, straight up in the front. And then I used to gel my hair. I did a variety of things, I guess. And shout out to our sponsored athletes.
Javier Escobar, Kelly Sullivan, Ryan Brazilara, Joshua Reed, and Kevin Gregory Jr.
Yeah, Kevin Gregory, who got a shout out in this episode again.
Wow, is he our most shouted out
during interviews and stuff? Probably. I mean, hybrid racing is huge right now. Poll results, we don't have one. We're going to skip Meme of the Week, I believe, and skip Badass of the Week.
Yep. Okay. Unless we want to say all the women are badasses on this International Day of Women.
Yeah. Go ladies.
Quick news?
Yes, quick news. Yeah. Let's start off with, again...
The New England OCR Expo is coming to West Boylston, Massachusetts on March 28th, 2026 at 10 a.m.?
Yes, yeah. And again, we will see you there. I'm on the board for it, but when I'm there, I'm going to be just as at the full capacity of being a vendor. And yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of people there again this year, and it looks like it's going to be a massive turnout, so very excited to see everyone again. Next up, a shout out to Adam Lavalette.
His photographer posted, "Congrats to the new Mr. and Mrs. Lavalette." such a fun privilege shooting Adam and Haley's elopement ceremony.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still racing OCR as much. I know he was big into like Fit Challenge and he was just like a phenomenal athlete. So I hope he's still running. I know he went to college in Boston and something. I don't know, but congratulations to him. Very excited.
We talked about getting eloped so many times, so congratulations to them for actually doing it.
Right. And next up, Caitlin, you found this news story. Not sponsored, but
I did.
Would have liked to be in the past.
So VJ Shoes posted Fusion Aerofly and Tempos are no longer in pre-order. They're shipping now. More effortlessly between surfaces, road, gravel, and dirt.
Nice. So
they're pretty looking.
Do you think they're pretty looking?
Yeah, I like that they're not like obnoxious looking.
I think they're boring. I like the obnoxious one. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like orange, but like, I'm not wearing white shoes.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But I'm sure they're great because I do love VJ Shoes. Not looking for a sponsorship anymore, though.
You wear... Oh, I don't wear VJs. That's just another sponsorship that I would not partake in.
Ouch. You can get the next one because I have a link to that one.
The 2026 Taco Bell DC 50K is November 27th, 2026, and registration is open. It's 8 Taco Bell locations, 50K across DC, Arlington, and Alexandria. And it starts at 8 a.m.
And I want to be there.
Wait, so you run through DC and Virginia? That's really cool.
Oh, I guess I didn't really put that together. But yeah, DC's kind of relatively small, so...
Yeah.
That makes sense. And again, put on by Mike Wardian and some other people, previous guests of the show. It'd be great to see him again. I can only assume that he'd remember us, but it has been a while, so who knows?
I want to know, is this where you have like a list of things you have to eat from Taco Bell?
Yeah. Yeah, we had Mary Jane Asuji on the show to talk about that. So go back to that previous episode. Pretty awesome.
Wasson Pound Wrangler is May 16th, 2016. They say better late than never. Registration will be live this weekend. Oh, that's not a lot of time. That gives you like 2 months.
Yeah. So I reached out to them saying like, hey, wanted to know if your event is going to be happening. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to get a post up soon. And I'm like, wow, this is wildly last minute. So we try to get them for the expo and they're like, oh, maybe next year. So I don't know. I'm sure something is busy going on in their personal life or something, but we hope to go there. We're just discussing our race calendar and I'm looking up at my medals and they're all medals from last year. And
yeah, but
they should all be taken down.
Our first medal.
You won. Is that what you're saying?
I did win. I have more medals and more distance.
Oh, significantly.
But like
you also did World's Toughest Mudder, so
I know. I really hope I get to do it again.
Right now.
These medals, our first medals from last year, only started this weekend. So like this.
Oh, that's a good point. I see what you mean. Yeah, because we started.
And like the progression.
Yeah, and we'll get that for like where we'll be this weekend as well.
More distance, less distance.
Did you find out real quick? Did you find out if you're doing the 5K and the 5 miler?
Yeah, I'm doing both.
So you're gonna have 2 medals, and I'm gonna get 1 medal this weekend. So you're gonna already start off beating me.
Yep.
All right. It keeps it interesting.
Don't you know the goal in this marriage is for me to beat you in everything?
Yeah. Well.
Marriage is a competition, guys. It's not difficult, but it's a competition.
And another local race news, Caitlin, you can get this one too.
Rob McCoy posted, okay, fit folks, it's time for our chapter to officially come to an end. April's OCR will be our final event. I recently received some news from my medical professionals that wasn't the greatest, and it's time for me to focus solely on that and take care of my health.
Which has got to be tough as a teacher.
Yeah, because he probably gets 15 sick days a year, and then it's, oh, let me ask the sick bank donation for some extra days off.
Right, yeah. So after I reached back out to him, I asked him about like moving my registration because I'm going to be at City Field next weekend and not at the multi-lap race like I originally planned. But I also want to see like how he's doing. So yeah. And I also wanted to mention the Spartan 2026 Super World Championship is officially headed to Thailand. After a pulse-pounding inaugural Super World Championship at Mammoth Mountain last weekend season. Was it called Mammoth Mountain? I guess that would make sense. It was a mountain in Mammoth. Mammoth. Last season, Spartans will take on the 10K title race in Chiang Rai, Thailand on December 12th. So that sounds pretty exciting. We got some DECA news. This comes to us from uk.hxr. News today that DECA Europe are launching a new format at DECA MCR in July known as DECA Ignite. DECA are inviting everyone to come and take on the DECA Fit course with your workmates as the ultimate team building exercise. Teams of 4 will take on the DECA Fit, You'll start together and finish together. You will then take on the rest of the course. However, you need to do with only 2 athletes needed to complete runs 2 through 9 and with a workout split however you like. The sting in the tail is that the workout reps or distances are doubled, plus you have the 90-minute time cap to contend with. So DecaFit's parent company Spartan has had a lot of success with corporate events via the Tough Mudder brand, so this seems like a natural progression. So that sounds pretty interesting. We talked a while ago about like what other events they'd come up with. We talked about like Deca Earth, Deca Fire. We missed Deca Ignite, so I guess it was right there in front of us. We've got some other Deca news that I lumped together in this section. DecaFit US removed prize money from their regular season races. Deca US hopes to have it return in 2027. Prize money will remain for the 2026 Deca World Championships, although a venue and location have not been announced yet. Deca Spain, Deca Europe, Deca Oceania, or other regional operators may continue to offer prize money during the season. Be sure to check out the appropriate websites and rulebooks. And if you listen to our first episode this year, we talked about whether or not Deca really needs prize money. It is a bummer to the athletes objectively, but if this helps Spartan get their shit together, it's probably for the best. That being said, Deca did announce, again from Hyper Fitness Media, DecaFit has designated 3 2026 stops as regional events with elite podium prize payouts. This corrects our earlier post from this morning. So these events would be SoCal, March 21st to the 22nd, Chicago, July 10th to the 12th, and New York City, September 25th to the 27th. And some more hybrid racing situation stuffs. Dr. Alondra Greenlee is not racing tonight or whenever this was posted, because she missed a pre-race briefing on Friday. She was okay with this decision until she learned that at least one other athlete did not make the meeting and is allowed to race tonight. So link to all this news stories down below, but that sounds pretty shitty. Wanted to give a shout out to Ultimate Obstacles, which is the home of the New England OCR Expo this year. They're turning 10 years old. So they said, join us Thursday, March 26th from 4 to 9 p.m. as we celebrate 10 incredible years of ninja training, community, and overcoming obstacles together. Whether you've been here since the grand opening or you've just visited once, you're invited to come celebrate us. And it talks about all the fun stuff that's happening at the party, including open obstacle gym, cake, balloons, celebration with the community, 30-minute sample adult fitness classes, all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, congratulations to Eric Mata. Seems like a really good guy. Another congratulations to Sarah Hetzel, who was on the show a couple times, most notably last time when she ran the Dopey Challenge at Disney. But she said, life update, Jacob and I are engaged, and yesterday we found my dress. I'm so excited to have found my person who feels like home, and I'm looking forward to spending our lives laughing together. So congratulations to her. Caitlin probably has something to say about the ring.
Oh, it's pretty. Who is that?
Sarah Hetzel.
Oh.
And wrapping it up with some Savage Race Florida Spring 2026 podiums.
For men, in third place, David Bergenstrom Wright. In second place, Kevin Thompson. And in first place, Kayano Boyle. I think that's how you would say that.
Yep.
And for the ladies, in third place, Riley Erlin. In second place, Jessica Cooper Shepard. And in first place, Courtney Washington.
Nice. Congratulations to them. 5 secret links down below, so go and check those out. But let's get to what this episode is all about. That quick news was not quick this time. So Ryan Hart had built up a community, gym, and a group of athletes with HartFit in Illinois and with his team Flatliners. Now that he has moved to Colorado and discontinued that team, he has recreated the facility in Colorado Springs, or just outside of Colorado Springs, where they're putting on a Havoc at HartFit event. So I really enjoyed this interview. He was someone that has supported the OCR community for a long time, has supported the show. But we talk about how he first found OCR, what got him starting up HartFit, the team that he created, some regrets that he's had along the way, and looking forward to how things go in Colorado. So let's get to the interview. Get started with your name and where you're from.
So Ryan Hart's from the Illinois, Chicago area. Was born in Indiana. Lived there for like 4 years, so I don't remember much of that, but grew up in Bolingbrook, just outside of Chicago. Been there pretty much my whole life. And Midwest has been like, 47 years of it basically, and we were like, we just had to get out. This is Colorado or anything west, anything with mountains. is what I've always had my eyes on it, and it's just like, there's always a reason not to go, but that it's like, at some point you're like, you just got to do it. So, it's been a place I've wanted to be for a long time. And there's parts of Illinois and all that, right? It's home.
Yeah.
Especially where I grew up, like nothing's going to replace that. But yeah, it's really, really glad to be here, man.
Colorado has been the number one state I've wanted to visit for like all of my life. And the only reason it isn't anymore is because I finally had the chance to go last year. And it completely lived up to my expectations. I went there for a wedding and I'm like, all right, we have like 2.5 days here. As soon as we landed, we just started pinging to all the places we could possibly get to. How has it been dealing with the elevation difference?
So it's, we're in Colorado Springs. So we're just outside of it in Peyton, which is actually a little bit higher than Colorado Springs. It's about 7,000 feet where we're at. It's noticeable. I've gotten better at it for sure. We've noticed that when we do actual like runs in the mountains and stuff, pretty good up to like maybe 10,000 feet. I don't, and I'm not the craziest, fastest runner, decent enough pace, but you can feel it, but the recovery comes pretty quick. Much better than it was when we first, when we were visiting out here. It was like, man, this is crazy. But it got much better. But man, I'm telling you, when you start getting into those 14ers, we've done 6 14ers since we've been here now. It's a whole different world up there, man. I mean, it's you start going up those things, and even if you don't feel it in the lungs, a lot of times you start getting a little bit loopy. Like you can tell, like when you're running and stuff, you're really concentrating on where don't hit that rock. Make sure you make a good jump over that one. I mean, it is like you are in the zone because something just feels like it's like mentally just a little bit off. I think that's the part I noticed more than even the lungs and stuff. Like I've done plenty of races at elevation. I think the first race I ever did at elevation was the Spartan World Championship in Lake Tahoe.
That'll do it.
I remember training for that thing, and I didn't know what to do. So I'm like, I'm in Illinois. We've got our only mountain was it was an old garbage, landfill, basically. Okay. I mean, that's what we used to use. I mean, people went there, you would just run up and down the thing as many times as you could. Surprisingly, it would work for like building up your legs and stuff, but you're at sea level. So it's not doing anything for your lungs. So I ended up getting one of those crazy like elevation masks.
Yeah.
Test one of those out. I don't think it really did anything for me except make you look like a psycho. I mean, you run around with that thing and everybody looking at you is like, this guy is either really serious or he's got some serious problems. And I heard a really good quote on using those things one time where it said basically wearing one of those, it's to swimming. Like if you were gonna try to simulate swimming or breathing, while swimming, it would be like basically sticking your face just in the toilet. Like it's not going to get you any better. And I didn't think it really helped all that much. I really didn't. When I got there, I felt fine. I saw a lot of people have like, they were doing the oxygen things, where you can like, the pumps and stuff like that.
As soon as you get off the plane, there's people trying to sell them to you. Yeah.
Totally. And I was like, I didn't need any of that. What I did notice, and what we notice here, even on the property now with the obstacles, is, you'd run up the mountain and feel like, okay, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And you get to something easy, monkey bars, something like that. And you would go through and do it. But the minute you came off and hit that bell, you were like, man, why did that feel so tough? And I think that's where the elevation was getting me, was anytime you did, an obstacle, and we feel it here too. Like we'll come off of stuff and we're like, sometimes we think our property is actually still the hardest thing that we run out here. And it's not, it's relatively flat. I mean, we're at here, again, it's at 7,000 feet, but we are east of the mountain range. So we can look right out the window here and see Pikes Peak and all of that. But essentially where we're at kind of looks like Kansas. I mean, we're only 40 minutes from Colorado Springs, but once you get out of Colorado Springs, it's pretty much nothing. The property itself has a little bit of grade to it, but it's pretty flat. and it still feels really tough here. And I think it's because of the obstacles. It's like that steady run you're doing, every time it breaks and you have to do some type of a strength thing, a carry, or something, you come out of it and you're like, man, how come I'm still not really feeling like I'm getting used to this the way that I should?
Yeah.
We can't imagine how DECA and stuff like that would be here. We haven't run one here yet. We're still an affiliate, so we plan on doing it. We know the first actual DECA Fit is going to be in Denver coming up, I think in May. I think it's actually the same weekend. It was just about that the Spartan, the trifecta weekend is here. But either way, it's like that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough at elevation. It's tough at sea level. So
I'm glad I didn't have any of the headaches and stuff because I read as much as I could about it, but experiencing it is different because I live at like maybe 100 feet elevation right now.
Yeah.
And going there, like we went to St. Mary's Glacier, which was around like 10,000, 11,000 feet.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But we were winded walking to the porta potty. And then we saw a moose, which was really cool. But we realized like if we had to run from the moose, we would be dead.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. You've seen it. Now we've been out here now since July. And of course, we come out here thinking about all the animals we're going to see and stuff like that. We have deer in the yard all the time, right? But I mean, big deer, you see deer all the time. Who cares? My wife wants to see a mountain lion. I don't know why she wants to see one. I've got special instructions that if I'm out running and I see one, I'm not to grab the knife first. I'm to grab the phone first to get the video of the mountain lion, which is probably not the way they recommend you doing it.
No.
But a moose is one of the things we keep going. Even today, we went to go run in an area that is known for a lot of moose. And we have yet to see one. So kudos to you, man. You came out here and visited and you saw one.
It was huge, and it was with its baby moose. I don't know what they call, but Caitlin had always wanted to see one, and so she was over the moon. I was terrified. It's not as big as the moose that we have like in the Northeast. Like we have some like roided out monsters up here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't they'll take out a car and keep walking and be fine. But yeah, then after that, she's like, oh, I want to see a mountain lion now. And I'm like, no, they'll see you.
They'll see you.
You don't want to see them. No, absolutely.
The amount of times that I believe I've probably been pretty close to a mountain lion, and generally they don't care. I mean, the cool thing is if you have a cat, they do the same thing.
Right.
The problem is they're just 100 pounds heavier, and playtime for them might be time for you to die. That's just the thing is usually they're not going to be interested. We did have a pretty tragic event, not near here, but up north a little bit on New Year's Day. A pretty well-known ultra runner went out first thing, start the new year off with a run. And this is somebody who, again, is not, it's not a novice. It's someone that has been doing this for a long time, knows the protocol, knows what to do. And unfortunately, she lost her life to a mountain lion attack, which again doesn't happen that often. But what it does, it definitely makes everybody very aware that, yes, they are out there. And you're already doing the one thing you're not supposed to do when you see one, you're running. So if they see you first, that chase instinct is there. And now it's like, you got problems.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I've run across a lot of bears, but again, like they're just kind of black bears by us, and it's never too dangerous. You just kind of like, all right, I'm going to get out of your way. And like, I feel like half the times I've run the New Jersey Beast, I've seen a bear there too. Like they're just out and about, but mountain lion, you're absolutely, they're fast and they're well hidden and everything. So that's terrifying.
Yeah, it's not something I want to see. It's bears. Yeah. In fact, the last time I ran the New Jersey Ultra, they had to change the penalty for the spear throw because there was a bear just hanging out in the penalty loop for the spear throw. But that bear seemed not interested in anyone that was around whatsoever.
Right. Love it. Awesome. So rewinding a little bit, we talked a little bit before we hit record, but somehow the first time I've had you on the show, which is wild because I've seen all of the things that you've been doing for the OCR community, including supporting the show way back when too. Tell us about your athletic background, how you first found OCR.
So athletic background really started kind of like more in my 20s, as a kid in high school, stuff like that. Didn't play a whole lot of sports, a little bit of community stuff here and there. Actually was into a lot of things that, shouldn't have been into. Smoked way too much of all types of stuff from, Newports to other things. Life really got off a track, for a long time. And it got to a point, even as I started to get away from a lot of the bad things that I was into, really didn't have any purpose. I'm working kind of an odd job. It's just kind of, unloading trucks and stuff like that. I hear one day I was, getting into working out at that time. So, again, early 20s, stuff like that, just out of high school and stuff, trying to find your way type thing, right?
Yeah.
And I heard a thing on the radio for a personal training school called National Personal Training Institute, which was just opening up its next semester, just pretty close to where I lived. So I wrote the number down and figured, hey, maybe this is my ticket into something else, right? Something positive. So got enrolled with that. I think at the time it was about a $7,000 certification. So, a little bit hefty on price back then.
Right.
But I thought, hey, this could totally be worth it. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing these type of jobs, rest of my life. So, it was, even when I was going to school then, it's crazy now because now I feel like my week is not complete unless I got 20 to 30 miles into running. I had to develop the love for running because I hated it. I didn't want to run at all. When I was going to school for personal training, it was all about the weightlifting and stuff. And we were just doing, pretty much the meathead, just the bench presses, all that stuff, the squats. Exactly. And the thought when we had to get into running, it was like, oh man, they're going to make us run today. And, it's one of those things where I know people can develop a love for it because now it's like, again, I don't know what I would do without it, but it did take some time. But got into that, personal trained for a while, did a couple of jobs like at the YMCA, things like that. And then I got out on my own, shared a space with another personal trainer. And he went and ran a Warrior Dash. And he comes back after this Warrior Dash and he's like, hey man, I'm telling you, he goes, they're going to come back here next year. He goes, you're going to have to do this, right? You got to do one of these. Like this has got your written, your name written all over it. You're going to love this thing. And he wasn't really a good runner. So, he viewed me as a better runner. He goes, you're more suited for this. He was a pretty big dude, a lot of muscle, kind of looked like Lou Ferrigno, to be honest. I always call him my fitness father. He taught me everything about the business of it and everything. Great dude. And so next year came around, I think that was 2011.
Oh,
yeah. 2010 or 2011, and ran my first Warrior Dash and thought, oh, this is awesome. And at that time, I'm like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Right.
And I remember as we were finishing up the race, this little Cessna plane comes flying over. It's got a banner that says Spartan because they used to do this all the time, right?
That's right.
And I'm like, oh, Spartan, how much harder can that be, right? So we found out. We signed up for the first Spartan that was in the Chicagoland area. It was in Marseilles, which actually the same spot where the Midwest OCR holds their race now.
Right.
Pretty much the only spot in Illinois to do a race that isn't running through a cornfield and boring. That area, very cool. Doesn't even really feel like Illinois. A lot of rolling hills, technical trails, very cool. And man, it was tough. That was back in the day where there wasn't they weren't cheering for you at the race as you were doing it.
Yeah.
I remember we were crawling through these half pipes that were, first of all, if you were claustrophobic, forget about it, right? I didn't even realize that most of what they were using wasn't even Spartan's own stuff. It was the stuff that was on this permanent course called Dirt Runner at that time. We had no idea.
Yeah.
We're crawling through these pipes, and the volunteers or whoever were banging on it with sticks or something. So it's all loud, and they're telling you the whole time. They're not saying, come on, you can do it. Like, you guys should quit. You guys can't do this. Just give up already. It was crazy. I'm like, this is awesome. Like,
it's back when you got welcomed to the finish line by the gladiators and stuff.
That is exactly what it was. Yeah. Next thing you know, being pushed over a hay bale and whacked. It was a whole different thing. So cool. But I really, after finishing that, I just kind of saw this avenue that you didn't see any gyms really doing. There was some of the training for it. There were some classes for it out of a lot of the CrossFit gyms and stuff like that. But you didn't see anybody who was actually like the whole gym was committed to that. Even the ninja gyms and stuff, ninja obviously is just another branch of OCR, but it's different in the fact that you're not going to be, in the elements. It's much more athletic based, explosive. It's
almost sterile.
Well, yeah, it's fun in a different way, but OCR is the cross country type OCR. It basically is kind of where we're going with it now. With when you talk about Spartan and Savage and anything with that has basically from 3K on to 30 miles or whatever, at some point it's gonna suck. Like it's not gonna be so fun. And I think the people that are attracted to it are the people that like that's where they have their fun, is when it starts to really suck and like, it's not over, even though you kind of wish it was over. And there's so much purpose and stuff that is, kind of unraveled in that. And that's where I really found like, hey, I mean, I had a pretty good, profession at doing personal training, working with the general public, just doing the regular, people, losing weight and trying to get fitter and things like that. And it was great. A lot of great clients over the years and stuff. But, there was just always this level that you couldn't quite get people to, or they wouldn't be quite willing to go to. And then you found that level in the people then that wanted to do, at that time, really Spartan, because Spartan was the main thing. Everybody just looked at Spartan as like the thing you're going to do. I mean, they kind of had built the whole thing around it being more of a lifestyle company than it is even an OCR race, which, served the purpose, for that, particular meaning at least. And, and it just, next thing you know, it's like I kind of moved out of that gym, got my own place, and started really going in full throttle on the OCR end of it. And just kind of started from there.
Yeah. And so was that the start of HartFit, or how did that come about?
Yeah, so Heart Fitness was in existence, obviously, with the personal training end of the business and everything, but we kind of changed up the branding and stuff. So when I went to, when I got my own gym, I really leaned hard into the Spartan element of it. Got our SGX certified. I think we were one of the first maybe year or two of SGX certifications. Wow. I've had that now. I just got my SGX certification renewed again. So it's been like 12 years or something now, I think is what it's been. So it's been a while. So really leaned into that. And that opened the door for a lot of things. You started to attract a different type of client. In fact, a lot of my clients that I brought with me that were not into Spartan at all, God bless them, they stayed on with me. But they were not, I mean, they walked into that new gym and they're looking around and they're like, hey, you're not going to make me do any of this stuff, right? Like, no, this is not, and they stuck around for a long time, but we definitely started attracting a different type.
Right.
And then the type that I did have for so long, they were not interested in that place at all. They didn't like the location of it. They didn't like the aesthetic of it. It was one of those things that looked very intimidating. You really needed to try to sell the people this whole purpose-driven thing of getting out of your comfort zone and things like that. And the foundation of the group that we started with was very much on that. A lot of these people were not the most athletic. They really just looked at it and said, hey, I don't like where my life is at. I'm sitting in office all day long under, fluorescent lighting. I don't see the sunlight almost ever. If I'm going to go to the gym, it's another place I have to be inside in, right. With all of these, just synthetic, you got TVs and this, and just like, it's like, get outside when it's hot, get outside when it's cold. The gym was really based upon, I mean, it was just basically not even big. It was probably only maybe 1,000 square feet was the actual gym itself. But we had access to an outdoor area that really was like 75% of the workout. And if it wasn't anything dangerous as far as lightning, ice, stuff like that, the workouts were outside. And even the gym, the door was wide open, just, the big overhead door. So it basically was still like being outside. And I mean, it was only meant for a certain kind of person for sure. But those people, they showed up.
Yeah. I could see that being like a hard sell initially of like, get out of your comfort zone. It's literally it's where people are comfortable. It's hard for people to break out of that.
Yep.
So what was it like with, obviously this was like very early on in OCR. What was it like seeing more of that like OCR clientele rolling in, and how is it like ebbed and flowed with how OCR has been doing lately?
So the gym definitely evolved as a sport evolved, for sure. We ended up getting a second gym, same location, but it was kind of a weird situation because it was about 50 yards from the other gym. So they worked as one gym. Again, most of the workout was outside anyway. So it was like, we started really getting into these OCR simulations. We realized that people were a lot of the focus training, right? Like they would do a lot of people were doing CrossFit. A lot of people had running coaches, stuff like that, but they needed a place for it to all kind of come together. And we noticed a lot that people ended up a race would be coming up and people would want to do, all of a sudden you get a bunch of calls for open gym. So people that weren't regular members, they want, hey, they just need to try this, try that. You try to tell them, you can try this and you can try that, but if you're not doing it in the condition you're going to be doing it at the race,
right?
With whatever weather it's going to be, whatever the case, you might not have as much success as you're going to have when you come in here and try it at open gym. Again, it's a great way to learn it, but now how do we apply it? So we started really diving into that, and with that, we started attracting some pretty competitive people. Not, anybody that most people would recognize their names or anything, but definitely people that, held down, full-time jobs, had the kids, had the whole thing, wives, husbands, whatever the case may be, and we're never going to get paid to do this, but put in the serious effort the same way that those people did. And that's where we kind of came up with the idea of this, the Flatliners team. Because we looked at it and we're like, well, how do we create something that still has that essence of like, it's open to everybody, right? Like, we don't care. Like, you don't need to be some kind of elite athlete or something to be a part of this team, which unfortunately, I think that kind of became the assumption after a while is some people, we started having so much success, it almost looked like that was what we were about. And it's like, it's not. Right. That whole motto of failure is dead on arrival was that the soul of the sport. It was like, hey, you show up after not wanting to, if this scares you, if this whole idea of working out outside, climbing ropes, going over walls, any of this stuff scares you, show up. You show up, you've already won. Yeah. You already beat the biggest obstacle, which is fear. Now you're here. So what possibly could go wrong now, right? Something good's going to happen. Yeah. So for these people over here, it may be a podium, but for you, it may be the simple fact that you came in, you got in that starting corral, you crossed the finish line, and there was a lot of, especially early on, we didn't really have a bunch of people that needed referees and people to like watch them do their burpees and stuff. Like there was an honor system, and people were going to do it because they knew they were being accountable to themselves. Right. And people really took the whole jersey very seriously there for a while too. It was like, oh, I'm going to wear that thing. Okay, well then I am going to make sure that I do everything I'm supposed to do. And it was kind of the best time of OCR when things were just the best, right? The numbers were going through the roof and everything. And yeah, the team was really strong at that. Very versatile, had a lot of variety as far as different types of goals and accomplishments that people had. So many different personalities and so many different walks of life coming in and then coming in just under that one tent on race day. And the cool thing was always looking out and being like, we'd see a lot of teams that, would have bigger teams, or they would have, just a bigger presence to race. But we often knew that those people often were introducing themselves to each other on race day.
Right.
With this group, like they were working out, sweating, paying the price together every single day together. And then it really demonstrated a lot of shared accomplishments on the course then. We felt like anytime we had people podium that they really represented everybody. So the people that we never wanted the people to feel like, hey, just because, that's not your thing, you're not going for that podium or you didn't get it. The people standing up there represented all the hard work you put in, and they wouldn't be doing without you either, so.
Yeah, I like that. More of like a cohesive team, because I think of back in the day, there were, I'm sure closer to you, like the corn-fed Spartans was like a massive group. We had the New England Spartans. That was like another huge group. Like there were so many of those in each region, which was special and great for lowering the barrier entry of like, hey, I'm nervous, I'm not going to go anyone. Like, okay, you'll know a few people. But to have a cohesive team, I think is really exciting for people that like want to push themselves to the next level and feel like represented and stuff. So that was definitely
it was fun. We had it was a great run. We retired the team officially last year at the end of 2025. With the move to Colorado and things, we just felt like it didn't feel right anymore. It felt like it was, once again, because that team was so connected to the Midwest, to Illinois. There was a certain style too that the team just kind of took on after a while, because we had a lot of really good athletes, a lot of really solid runners, but nobody who you would have considered to be in an elite level. What we did pride ourselves on was the fact that when it came to obstacles, we were able to beat some pretty big names, even on those. And that was always fun, because we felt like as OCR went on, to kind of piggyback on, your evolution of OCR thing, it just started to seem that there was less weight put on the obstacles.
Significantly, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, well, because you would see even the people, and this, kind of hurt the gym over the years too, was you didn't really need to train at an OCR gym to do well at OCR. You could, if you were, once you kind of had, your initial introduction into the sport, had some success at it, and done a lot of the things, you didn't really have a reason to, unless you wanted to, because you really had that passion for it, to do, that many obstacles or that type of stuff, that often. Because you could just really, show up and just, if you were good enough, just breeze right through it. But this crew was always really good at the fact that, like, if there is going to be that thing that you haven't seen before, we probably did something harder in the class and or in one of these simulations, and we just might have a chance to beat you on that. And the girls especially did that 2 years in a row at OCR World Championships, the last year in Vermont, and then the first year in Mammoth. Third place both times. Remember, you guys interviewed them after the Vermont one. And third place was it was, especially with where the gym was at that time, and some of the things that I think our girls especially had overcome at that time. I think there started to become a lot of opinions about, what was a real OCR racer and all of these different things that just was never a part of the sport before. But you started to see a lot more cattiness getting into the sport, where it was like, hey, man, like the community started to, sever a little bit, where like this accomplishment wasn't good enough. Or this race, success at this race was cool, but like you better have it at this race because you don't. And it's like there's so many different styles of OCR, so many different brands. It just, what they were able to do there solidified a lot of what we were really about. I'm not even sure they even realized a lot of times how much of a big deal it was for them, or for the gym, especially in that year in Vermont, to snag that third place. They were up on the podium with some pretty big names.
Yeah.
And, they belonged up there. They had a different skill set, but they belonged up there. And there were some people on the course that bigger names that they were able to beat, that, again, given that opportunity, they were able to take advantage of it. So we were always very proud of that. We just felt that it was wrong to keep it going out here. I'm a hands-on person. It's real hard I'm not a long distance relationship. I mean, we keep in touch with everybody the best that we can, but I want to be there coaching them. I want to be like right there. We gave up racing. You know, I mean, myself really stepped back my schedule for racing for a long time because I just felt it to be wrong to be racing on the course when my athletes were out there. So I would pick up 4 or 5 miles running around the course, just coaching and trying to get video of them and stuff like that, just because, you know, it's, I don't know. We had something really special, and I just don't feel it could have been duplicated. So I didn't want to be Michael Jordan and the Wizards, you know, missing a dunk. We did some great things, you know, and just like the hardest thing to walk away from for sure. I mean, just very tough, that and the whole, you know, Illinois gym and everything. But, you know, I felt it was the right thing to do.
I mean, so that's the perfect transition of what caused the move to Colorado and what kind of went into transitioning your company and everything to a completely new location, new state, new everything.
Well, you know, going back to always wanted to be here for one. I am somebody, and my wife is this as well. We're those type of people that like, we know we're not going to be here forever. You know, I mean, life's really easy to take for granted. Both of us had plenty of things we saw with the courses of our lives that definitely gave us that perspective. Like this is not a game.
Right.
You know, there's an SGX coach, or a guy that I went to school or, you know, did a SGX class with when I got certified, named John Haley, he's out in Illinois, really good coach, really good guy. He's got this great quote that I'll never forget, and it's called, "This is not your practice life." And it's like, it always hits hard because I'm like, that's 100% true. Like, you don't get another run at this. So if there's something you really want to do, you know, you really got to do it. And there's never a right time. There's always a wrong time. You know, you can always give yourself all the reasons why you shouldn't move. OCR in the Midwest, we've got some of the best local races out there.
Yes.
But we're seeing, you know, they're feeling the weight the same way everybody is feeling the weight. You know, Aaron and Dana from Race Ready Obstacles, Midwest OCR, the best people. I mean, I don't think anyone even needs to promote that. I think anyone that's ever interaction with them knows.
Yeah.
They are fantastic. They are busting their butts. They have fallen on the sword so many times for the passion of this sport, for our gym. Even, I mean, what we had to kind of go through COVID, I had a lot of personal stuff going on that really affected the gym. We almost lost it. And if it wasn't for them, I mean, most gyms did go under.
Right.
We didn't. For one, I couldn't. I mean, and this is all I do. I mean, I know a lot of people that are owning gyms and coaching. There's a lot of people, it's all they do. There's a good portion too that, you know, it's kind of the side gig, right? It's kind of what they do on the side. So there's really no other option anyway. I mean, I have to keep this thing going, you know, and you knew that everyone needed this place, you know, during that time anyway, right? So, but they came through and just like basically rebuilt the gym for nothing. Like they just came in and did it because that's how like dedicated they have always been to us. I mean, they've always been great friends to us, but their overall dedication to the community is just second to none. Like they live and bleed OCR. If there was more people out there like that, I think we'd be in a little bit better position. But we knew that the numbers at the gym were going down. It became less of a gym and more of a club. It was only the team that came. And it was fun because, I mean, literally, I mean, it was like a team's training center. We couldn't get any new members in. I think, especially once Spartan left Chicago, they still go to Indiana and stuff, but the interest really went down. That's still what pulls most people in is as good as the local races are and things. Just, you know, I think people tend to go, they feel more validated a lot of times for whatever reason by something that is bigger, even if the other thing was harder.
Right.
They just feel bigger. So I think that hurt a lot. And we also, you know, we saw hybrid fitness really became a big thing and have done I think 6 High Roxes. Obviously, we're a Deck affiliate. Love everything about hybrid fitness. It's taken everything by storm. It's having the same meteoric rise that OCR had. It's doing it with most of the OCR athletes that were part of the meteoric rise. It's almost become like this second cousin now of OCR because of the amount of people that were so invested in OCR that are now invested in hybrid. But we saw that and we realized that, it was always stuff that we had done part of the gym anyway, like wall ball shot, all this kind of, all those machines, the rowers and assault bikes and all that. This was always a part of any type of our OCR stuff. Hybrid and OCR have always had a bit of a relationship together in our gym, whether, it was by design. We didn't invent the term hybrid fitness, obviously, but it's like when we saw it taking off, we're like, well, this is what we've been doing just without the obstacle. We just added obstacles to it. But we saw that people were less likely to pick an OCR gym for that if they were already doing it somewhere else. It seemed, every CrossFit gym already was pretty much ready to go to host any type of high rocks type thing, whatever, right? So CrossFit gyms, things like that, it got to a point where specific OCR training, unless we really wanted to kind of pull back from that and go full on to hybrid, which I didn't want to do because for all the good things I can say about hybrid, it's inside. I don't want to be inside. I can only have so much fun throwing a ball against a target 100 times. If I've done it once, I've done it a bunch of times. OCR has still got that, I know we're trying to standardize everything. I know everything is there's that, battle of hey, we want to have different obstacles. We want to have different challenges and all this stuff. But hey, no, we also want everything to be the same. So it can all be structured. And so my time in this city ranks fairly against this person in this city. And that's where I think OCR is having some trouble.
See, adventure versus structure, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the purpose-driven thing of it, where they used to never give you a map. You never knew what was coming.
Or the classified obstacles on the map.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's okay, and I get that's not great for a sport, but sometimes maybe the sport part of it, as much as I love the sport part of it, literally a lot of our stuff at the gym was based upon the sport part of it, but it does start to lose from the purpose part of it a little bit. And that's where some of the surprise and the weather might suck and all of that stuff starts coming to play. That's like, hey, let's not totally get away from that. So, but anyway, we decided that, we thought Colorado Springs would be a good area to kind of reinvent ourselves a little bit. We thought that we had, obviously we have a ton of well-known OCR athletes in Colorado.
Yes,
all over the place. Just athletes in Colorado in general
for all sports. Yeah.
It's, you go and do a really good run somewhere here, and then you jump on Strava and where you would have ranked in Illinois, right? To have your little moment of hey, I'm in the top 5, it's something completely meaningless, but it's still whatever, right? You have some fun. Not here. That same run here. You're number 278 if you're lucky, and you're who the heck ran that? It's insane out here. You just look at the name says pro next to them, and it's just it's crazy. So we knew this is a very active area.
Yeah.
Chicago likes food. It's food. The weather sucks. I'm not a big fan of clouds. It's sunny here all the time.
Yeah.
I think people are actually mad at us that we are in a spot that we probably brag about it a little bit too much, but wintertime in Chicago, as you guys probably know where you're at, there will be 7 to 10 days. You'll forget what the sun looks like.
Seriously. Yeah.
You guys are getting snowed on right now, right? It's
oh yeah. We're about to get buried.
We'll get snow, but the next day, I kid you not, you're shoveling in shorts. I mean, and we've had not nearly as much snow as we're supposed to. Not great for us. We're on a well, so we have an aquifer and stuff. So we could use some more, water. But
take it from us anytime. We're getting 2 feet. So
right. I mean, you guys are getting all we're not getting. But I'm like, I mean, it's gorgeous out here. So, it's an active area. And there's a part of us that, I mean, we obviously want and need HartFit to succeed out here. We kind of saw the end coming. I mean, there was a couple people there. I'd say 5 or 6 people in Illinois for sure. 2 of them weren't even on our team that would have, and some of them did just about pay double just to keep the gym going. I mean, and I think they would have kept doing it, and I think they would have paid triple. But there gets a point where it's like, look, if we can't get everybody invested in the same way, we essentially would have needed everybody to be on a membership. That's a big ask because, fitness is always the one thing people cut. It's top of the chopping block all the time. You know it when you're in the profession. You really can't operate the way other businesses operate. I mean, every other business on the planet is, hey, taxes went up, prices went up. So guess what? My cost has to go up.
Yeah.
You do that in fitness, you're done. You're cut out. Like it's just not going to happen because everyone has the opinion that they can do it on their own. Plus, a lot of it now you can. I mean, again, how many people now have these home, gym garages and stuff, or garage gyms and stuff like that, I mean, who needs a gym membership, So you really are then it is like this team that is keeping this thing together. And OCR beats people up. You see more people, some people left OCR and went to hybrid because it's easier on the body.
Yeah.
Tendons aren't getting all whatever. So you saw the writing on the wall, and it was like, look, if we come out here and it doesn't work to the level that it worked at one point in Chicago, we've got an obstacle course on our property and a mountain view. So, my hope is not to have to end up, being a greeter at Walmart one day, which is about the next thing I'm qualified to do. But, we just knew that like, hey, if we were going to end up at some point failing there in Illinois, it's not where we wanted to fail at. We just like, let's get out here, start this thing back up again. We're going to be a bit more event focused out here. We're not trying to necessarily be everybody's home gym out here the same way that we were in Illinois. So yeah, it was a tough decision. And it probably not one made overnight. Obviously, we probably went 3 or 4 years. I'd say from COVID on, at the end of every year, you really had to have some tough conversations and think about, okay, can we keep doing this? Should we keep doing this? And we kept doing it because of the group and because of the people. I mean, it just like walking away from them just seemed like the worst possible thing you could do. I mean, the thought of it just, it would break me every time I would do it. But then it got to a point where it's like, we just can't anymore. Like, we just can't, it's unfortunate. We just couldn't do it. So we went big on the property out here, small in the house. We don't need much. We don't care. I mean, again, we wanted the mountains, we wanted the area, and we wanted the ability to actually have it on our property so that we had more control of it. If you would have ever seen what we used to get away with in Chicago, I mean, it's not what most gym or most areas allow. We were in an unincorporated area with a lot of people that just got really used to us running up and down the streets with sandbags and buckets and stuff. I mean, it was crazy at first, that it just became normal. And like, again, God bless them. They survived next to this crazy gym for, 10 years. But there was a lot of politics and stuff involved where it's like, it's so much easier when it's like it's yours and right. Rent's not going to go up and all that. So yeah, I mean, a lot of reasons, but that's the gist of it.
Yeah. So getting to and I understand like you're still in the early days of the gym, but the super early days of the gym, I saw a lot of elite OCR athletes there. So who are some that have come out to scope out this new location already?
So we've had Tyler Bierman, Chris Waglaski, and we had VJ Jones out here. So we reached out to few people. We reached out to Nicole Miracle as well. Robert Killian. Didn't realize that Killian was no longer in Colorado.
Yeah, I think he moved to DC.
I think he's in. Yeah, I think he's in Virginia. Something. Yeah, he's.
Okay.
Because military, so he's out there for that. But so reached out to a few people, and we're able to get those three to come here initially. Kind of our grand opening type thing. We got the gym. The facility more, we like to call it, right? It's not even so much a gym, but we got it opened later than we thought. We were hoping to get it opened in August, but we depend on the two best people, as I mentioned, in OCR to build our stuff, and they're very busy.
Yes.
Yeah. So, it's we definitely understand that, there was a bit of an accident there too that Aaron had. That set him back a little bit, that set him right into them having to set up for Midwest. So we didn't know what the winter out here was going to be like. We're like, it's our first winter here, and we know what Chicago's like. It's terrible. We didn't know it was going to be like 55 or 60 almost every day and sunny, which is what it's been. They say it's not completely normal. We need to get a bit more snow, but either way, we figured, well, let's just give the farm away for the last half of 2025. Yep. So we just contacted as many different people as we could, different gyms, stuff like that, had them come out, test out facility. And so those three would be the three main names that people would know that came out here. Funny enough, and I thought I explained this very well to them when they came out, but they were not expecting a workout. So they got introduced to our style of working out. VJ in particular had already run 17 miles that morning.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like, wait, hold on. He goes, we're doing a workout? In fact, you listen to his podcast, he's pretty funny about it. He just, he's like, okay, I come there, thought it was just kind of hey, meet and greet, try some stuff out. He goes, no, next thing I know, we're doing like 100 meters worth of lunges. He goes, I think I did like 16 rigs, and it was pretty cool to have them come by.
Yeah, no, those are three really big names. And I saw that you had it like free open house for a while, which I thought was pretty cool. And again, it's 5 acres of land, which is crazy, just outside of Colorado Springs, which sounds amazing. On a personal note, I saw that we're going to be just a little bit more than an hour away when we go in June. And I was super excited because we'll get to your event in a bit. Unfortunately, it's the weekend right before your event.
Oh man!
But I still want to come by. We're going back to the Red Rocks.
Nice.
For a concert. Cool. And while we won't be moving there, I can't wait to go back to Colorado. So
totally. It's you want to hear me brag about it anymore, but there's not a day that I walk out, wake up in the morning, look out, I'm like, man, we live here. Like, this is awesome. I'm telling you, the state has its problems, right? Any state does. People mess up everything. So wherever you go, something's going to be. But then you look out the window and it's like, man, it's a 14,000 foot mountain right there. And I was on top of that. That's cool. And the day just gets better.
So good. So good. And so speaking to the whole free nature of it at first, how has it been in adopting or attracting more athletes to the gym so far?
So far, pretty tough. I think part of it is the time of year that we started, for sure. This is how it always is in the beginning. We had hoped, but pretty much doubted that anything that we did in Chicago was really going to carry over here. Plenty of people have heard of us, but one of my biggest failings with that gym was I was never really able to get anybody any more notoriety than the kind of notoriety I thought they deserved. And I think, there's a few parts to that. I think people obviously always kind of tailor themselves towards, the biggest names, the elite athletes. That's where people are going to get most of their ratings and all kind of stuff from. But I felt like that middle part of the community that was really kind of the blue collar part of it, the ones that were still putting up the podiums and doing the stuff but weren't taking home any money, that was really what we represented. And I just couldn't really get that out there. So, and you felt it when we came over here. It was like, I don't, it's a lot of that success. It's like having this really good resume that just kind of got deleted. Like you don't even when we moved over here, Google, because I changed the name of the business, we had 10 years of Google reviews.
Yeah.
They were installed. So now I've got 3. So it is literally starting all over again. So right now, it's pretty quiet here. It's pretty quiet. I've got some one-on-one training that I'm doing that's pretty cool. People focused on Spartan race coming up here in Colorado Springs. But we're hoping that the event kind of kickstarts a little thing. And we've learned that people think it's cold out here.
Yeah, they're soft.
I've heard it a few times now. I'm not saying just like specifically the OCR community, but I've heard this like a few times where I'm like, wait, hold on, man. This isn't cold. Like there was a day I was running around on, pretty much any time that we're working on the property, we're in shorts and a t-shirt. And like, I look back at the Chicago weather because I still work with a corporation back in Chicago that I'd worked with for like 10 years as like their on-site personal trainer. So I still work with them virtually a couple times a week from here. So I check the weather a lot of times to see if I can send them outside for anything. And I look and I'm like, oh man, -23. I'm like, it's not -20. Like it's never got -20. It's not negative anything here.
Also, for our for our listeners, Fahrenheit. That's fucking cold.
It's cold, man.
Cold where your skin burns. It's cold. Like,
totally.
Yeah.
It's painful cold. You can get a chill here for sure. And as you start going to the mountains, you got to be prepared. It's a whole different world up there. But where we're at right here, I mean, I've never experienced weather this nice in the wintertime. I've never seen the sun this much in the wintertime. It's phenomenal. So we're still trying to kind of get a gauge for the community a little bit too. And, it's one of those things where you got to have that first real dedicated group of people that just start to spread that word of mouth a little bit. They're out there. Yeah. They'll find us. We'll find them, whatever the case is. But right now, pretty challenging, pretty slow.
Yeah. One of the things you mentioned earlier is like, everyone can do their at-home gym. Like myself, like we just built a treadmill yesterday, which is super helpful. But what I can't do here is have someone critique my form and help me with body awareness. I saw a recent post of you with, I forgot his name, but he was doing a low rig.
That's Pat. Yep.
Pat.
Yep.
And you were able to kind of help him navigate. Like, all right, it's not so much grip strength; it's your hips. You got to swing your hips. It's the rest of your body, and having a facility again to help people do this. Like that's something that you can't get at your house. You can't get at typical box gyms. You have to have someone that's walked the walk and talked the talk and has done all these events like yourself too. So I think that's something where like you can't like replicate that. Like that's something that you guys have that's huge.
Yeah, and that's what we've always tried to really focus for people is like the obstacles obviously attract people to a place like this, to any kind of gym. It's always about the obstacles, but you see so many times that people come in and they don't realize their body is not really conditioned to take on all those obstacles yet. So it's like you want to get out there like a kid in a playground and just start going and hanging on this and doing that. And next thing you know, you wake up the next day and you feel tendons and muscles, things you didn't even know existed. And, they can lead to some pretty serious injury or even lead to your very early end to a sport that you just started doing. And that's not what we want. We actually don't even have near the obstacles on the property that we initially planned on or wanted. We lost so much on the way from Chicago to here. The move was, I don't think any move ever goes smooth, but our move was exceptionally challenging. When your movers don't show up, and when they do show up, they bring essentially something no bigger than a U-Haul, and you're expecting a semi-truck. You basically part with almost all of your actual house stuff and say, I guess we got to get everything on Marketplace. And then all your wooden stuff, Olympus, the box, all that stuff gone. It was on the front yard. And we just put it on Marketplace and said, come take it. Like it has to go today. And people did. They came and they took everything. So we try to focus then, like, though we are missing a lot of the obstacles, the programming and the knowledge behind it is still there. And for a guy like Pat, he's looking at doing I believe this will be his second attempt now at doing the Beast in Colorado Springs.
Cool.
And last year when he did it, didn't go so well, but he didn't really start training. And you see this a lot where people have a race coming up, and if they go to the gym at all, doing anything, run a treadmill, whatever the case is, they kind of compartmentalize it and say, okay, well, I run this, amount of miles a week, and I lift this many times a week. So all I got to do is, like I mentioned earlier, just go climb a couple ropes and figure out how to do this. And they don't put it all together. And then they found out on race day, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And to his credit, he actually had started working with another coach out here, pretty well known, Suzanne Hinka. She is more on the ninja side of it and actually had recommended our facility to Pat.
Nice.
For more of the cross-country style, Spartan training. And
is that Jaleesa's mom?
I believe so. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, the last name sounds so familiar. Yeah.
Yes. I've not met her daughter yet, but I believe that is her name. I know she is pretty spectacular.
She's a great athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suzanne's been on the property here once. We brought her out here with Glenn and a few other people. But yeah, it's so Suzanne kind of pointed him in our direction. And again, to Pat's credit, he was already seeked out one coach. Then he finds another one, and you're seeing the progress now. Like he didn't know he had hips until last week. And now this week, he looked like he'd done it 1,000 times. Awesome. So yeah, it's that's the fun stuff to see. It's very cool because it's people that a lot of times they just didn't really believe they could do it, or they thought, they're like, oh, you make that look so easy, or whatever the case is. And it's like, no, I'm telling you, man, you can do this. We gotta stop thinking so much about everything up here. Everything is always about pull-ups and grip strength, and it's like, sure, but I'm telling you, so like Rory, for instance, she has twice at Frontline. She weighs 120 pounds. I mean, she's twice 2 for 2 on keeping the 20-pound vest at Frontline.
Yeah, and just to clarify, like that's the whole race. It's an obstacle course race where you have to wear the vest the whole time.
Yeah. So 20-pound vest. The women got to wear the same weight the guys got to wear. And, she's not a master at pull-ups and stuff. Like there's a lot of people way stronger than her. I got a girl right now from the old team in Chicago that I'm training. She's going to do it in the vest. And of course, the first thing she's thinking is how much stronger she's got to get. I'm like, yes, but what we really got to work on is just your fluidity of your body movement. Like if you can hang on something, you'll see it all the time. Somebody will be going through a rig, they'll get stuck and they'll just be hanging there for like 30 seconds. And then they'll come off like, man, my grip. And it's like,
it wasn't your grip.
You just demonstrated like a minute dead on the grip. We got to teach how to move is what we got to do. So yeah, it's, we try to really focus, like we definitely want to get more obstacles and more equipment here as we go on, but we've got exactly what people need for the foundational development of, or even getting better if they're already, into the sport and done pretty well. What we have right now will serve them just fine as far as developing them into better, more accomplished athletes for sure.
Yeah. And then I know you said that you don't want to go like full on in it, but like you said DECA events too, like how long until you think, obviously you're gonna need the equipment and everything, but like how long until you think you're gonna be ready to put on like DECA events and stuff there too?
Pretty soon. The only thing that we are testing out, the one thing this property didn't have, and we came out to Colorado Springs numerous times to look at different properties and things, and this property had a lot of great things about it. The one thing it doesn't have is not one paved area anywhere.
Okay.
So that's a problem for like the tank and stuff. Now, the OCR mind says, well, push it on the grass, like it's harder, right? But the whole standardization thing, that doesn't work. Someone is not going to be happy that they're pushing the tank on the grass instead of on something smooth. So luckily where we live, we have nothing but capable people around us. So everyone here knows how to do something that we don't know how to do, from drywalling to putting in concrete to whatever. So we are most likely going to put out a roughly 10-meter strip of concrete where we can have the tank at. Once we do that, get it tested out, we hope to get that out by maybe March or April. We hope to have our first DECA event in June.
Awesome.
Now they need about, I think, 8 weeks before, to actually set it up, is what DECA requires now. So we have, we'll have to get on it here relatively soon. But yeah, we definitely plan on having a few of those events this year.
Yeah, I think
nailed down a date yet.
I think that'll be huge for getting more people too. I think of how far I'm willing to drive, because I go to all the DECAs. Actually, most of the DECAs that I go all the way to Underdog Fitness. They're 2.5 hours away, but I love the community. And actually, in watching some of your old videos of the DECA that you had in Illinois, I had a very similar vibe. It looked like a really cool community doing a fun event, suffering together and all that. So yeah, I think that's going to be, and that comes from leadership. So I think once that starts to be rebuild and stuff too, that's going to be huge for building out your, more regular.
What Kevin's got going on at Underdog, I think, is, when I look at it, I think it's like the closest thing I've seen. I love what he's doing. I think it's about the closest thing to what I've seen about what we did. I will see a lot of his posts sometimes when the way he categorizes his athletes,
the tiers, right?
That is something I should have got right, because we actually had our top athletes. We had them as pros for a while. I paid them up front every year. It was nothing crazy. I mean, no life-changing money. The gym had no money, but we were given, roughly anywhere between $500 to $750 for people to represent the team. And this came without them even having, they got podiums or they didn't get them. But either way, we took our 5 or 6 best each year and did that. And I never should have. I think he calls his top tier podium chasers.
Yes,
he calls them. That's brilliant. I should have done that. Pro, I think, is they're not getting paid by the sport to do it. I don't know. I think he's done a lot of really brilliant things. I think that's one of them. So it makes complete sense why you would drive 2.5 hours to go see him, because we used to have that same kind of thing in Chicago where people would drive. I think the average drive to the gym for people was 40 minutes.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so hopefully being where you are now is going to be even more convenient for people as well too.
Totally.
Yeah. Another thing that I saw that you posted about too, which I completely agree with, is the importance of getting and retaining women in the sport too. Mm-hmm. So how has your experience with that been?
That has been one of the kind of the pillars of HartFit. Whether it was designed that way or we just, we designed a place that was going to be obviously welcoming and, engaging for everybody. But we just seem to really have we just seem to do well with the women. We had I think because of there's a lot of room because of, there's not a ton of women still running the sport, unfortunately. We saw a lot of the numbers go down, especially with the younger ages. We saw it in the men's field too. I think that's one of the problems the sport's had, is it's not been able to attract a whole lot of younger people in. I think the ninja type OCR is still more attractive to younger people, more explosive, more fun, more just wow factor to it. We are in a society now that is not about a lot of delayed gratification and Spartan stuff like that. It's delayed gratification. You're gonna be out there for a few hours, and all this bad things might happen to you and whatever else, right? But I think we saw kind of the Gen Xers like myself, as we got older and some of us dropped out, we didn't see the same numbers come in from some of the other generations. And with the women, I think we saw even less of that come in, which opened up the door for some pretty tremendous opportunities. We had a girl at the gym for a while that was just dominating the age group was probably 20 to 25. I think is what the tier was at that time. And I mean, she was just killing it. I mean, just because like the opportunity was there. She knew how to do obstacles, and there was no Spartan obstacle that was going to stop her.
Right.
So she had this tremendous amount of success at that. And it was, you saw that in other areas too, where it's like, look, there's room for some of the, if you're going to get completely outrun as a guy, still like I was, always called myself like the bridesmaid podium chaser for the age group, right? Like I was always like, 4, 5, or 6 or something, right? I mean, I've got a couple of, 1s and 2s, but for the most part, and it's usually the guys in my own gym are the ones beating me, right? It's like, so
good problem. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's like how mad can you be, right? But it's like, son of a bitch. But, I couldn't, the guys typically, you'll see them, even if they're not that good at obstacles, they'll find a way to muscle through it. It'll look ugly as can be, but you might not be able to get past them on it, right? Like you can't, if a guy outruns you and you're better at him on obstacles, but he can still get the obstacle, you're not going to get him. You're dead. That's it. It's just it. But we saw with the women a lot of times that there was a lot of really good women runners that hadn't quite mastered the obstacle thing yet. And we saw that with the training at the gym, that our girls, if they got that part down, they might have gotten to the obstacle second, but they were going to get through it first. And it would just happen over and over again. And I think that was where, because there's not a lot of dedicated training for a lot of, especially the harder obstacle races, when you start getting into some of the more local stuff, or even like OCR World Championships and stuff, you just saw, like, I think a lot of the women started to see this opportunity of like, look, I'm only going to be this fast, but I can get better at this obstacle game. And there's a place for me on that podium because of it, because there's an advantage there still, because the numbers are smaller, that if I hone in on that and I get better at that, I'm going to end up on that podium.
Yeah.
I think a chance.
I think a huge example of that Savage race, I want to say Ohio, I can't remember which event it was, but like Lindsay Webster was racing, and I think she got hung up at the Savage rig, and along comes Amy Patrick, who, not the fastest runner, incredible ninja athlete, surpasses her and got the podium. So like it's nice when races reward that. Unfortunately,
I think that was the year that they had the cheese board in there. It was the first year the cheese board got introduced. It was funny about that video, actually that race. It was one more of those things where I used to get so proud and then so angry sometimes at the same time. I remember I was watching the video. I forget who was doing I think Bracken was one of the people doing the commentary. I forget who the other one was. But as they're going through it, they've got the camera on the Savage rig, and they're talking about how this cheese board has taken so many people out of this race. And as they're doing it, I've got one of my guys right there. Never seen the thing before, never would ever. But that's what we would do. We ended up getting a cheese board, but so we could specifically train that. But because, again, like I say, we try not to get so specific about obstacles that, like, hey, this obstacle is going to be there, so we'll prep you for this. We try to throw as many monkey wrenches in as we can, so that if something does come up that is something you haven't seen, you can get through it. And there he is going through it. And I'm like, hey, I'm not mentioning my guy, because he's got no problem. I know that this person came off and this big name came off, but like, that's my guy right there. He's not coming off. Like,
Yeah. And it's tricky too, like as a commentator or like the person doing the live stream, like, unfortunately, when you don't know the person's name, it's like, oh, you don't know what you don't know.
No, totally. And that's what I said. Like, that's on me. I was never able to get the names out there enough. It's I don't know. I couldn't find the avenue for it, but yeah, it's one of those things where, that's back when Right. You didn't know which savage rig you were going to get. They would throw something at you and like that thing hangs vertical. You don't hang that thing horizontal and got to climb across. You've never done that before. What are you doing? So.
Absolutely. Another event that I wanted to highlight that you put on back in Illinois too, was it like a baby shower or something? I saw a whole bunch of people with like balloons in their shirts and holding babies while doing decas and stuff. What was that all about? That looked wicked fun.
We did two of them. So my one and only coach I ever had, actually at HartFit was John Caluzzi. Him and his wife Callie had I think they were the first one. I think Callie was the first one to get pregnant. So we had to obviously do a baby shower thing for them. And we've seen people do this before with, CrossFit gym, stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't an idea that we came up with, but we hadn't seen a whole lot of people do it while doing rigs and stuff.
No. Yeah.
We're going to do a whole OCR simulation out of this. And, we actually ended it, we had one for him and then one for one of our members at the gym, Brian Edgeworth, who's also the guy that makes, he made this shirt. He makes all of our stuff.
Sweet.
Great dude. Him and his wife also were having a baby, so we did another one for them. Their kids were born pretty close together. I think it was both in the same year, I believe. It was pretty close. But either way, a lot of fun. That was cool. I know at the end of John and Callie's, everybody had to finish the workout by chugging a baby bottle of apple juice. I think I was gonna do milk, but then I'm like, wait, somebody here must try lactose intolerant. I don't do that, right? So
good point.
Apple juice is safe. Let's go with that. So that's what we did. That was the kind of stuff which is fun, and you just always have everybody show up for it. That was the cool thing about back. I mean, deck events, whatever it was, we used to have to turn volunteers down because everybody would want to volunteer. Everybody. It was like, guys, I don't need any. Please come.
Yeah.
We've got the shift covered and stuff. So, those were a lot of fun. I think we did stuff with gifts and things like that. I think we got them this. Everybody pitched in for one of these. It looked like it was like the Hummer of baby strollers.
Okay.
It was a tank. It was definitely meant for John's kid for sure.
It's an all-terrain.
This thing was, it was like, I put it together. I'm like, what? And this is crazy. I mean, it was actually kind of cool. I'm like, this thing it's only missing like a stick shift or whatever, man. I'm like, this is insane. Pretty cool. But again, just like, it was like, you would see the biggest ticket item on a list. And it's like, oh, well, that's the one they just put on there because for funsies, right? And next thing you know, the gym's got the money accumulated to get it. It's like, oh, we're actually going to get that thing.
That's awesome.
So here it is.
That's so good. And then speaking of events, obviously it took us a little while to get to it, but you're putting on an event in June called Havoc at HartFit. Tell me all about it.
So, we just got it live today. It is going to be in collaboration with the Midwest OCR. Partially because I think Aaron and Dana also just always want to come to Colorado because, why wouldn't you want to? We keep trying to get them to actually buy the house next to us. They haven't bitten yet, but we're hoping maybe one day they will. So 3K, this 5-acre property is set up really well for a 3K course. I took a lot of inspiration over the years. I loved what Spartan was doing during COVID in those Spartan games with that Spartan cross.
Yes.
I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was great for optics. We all obviously love the races where you're running, the sprint super beast, but not great for spectators.
No.
Can't see anything, see you start, see you finish, and that's about it. This continuous loop around, we obviously have seen that high rocks and stuff like that. I think it's one of the things that makes it so exciting. You can actually go watch your friend, family member, whoever, and see them pretty much the whole time because of the way it's set up. It's surrounding you. And I think OCR can take a little bit of, advice from that and maybe sometimes get a bit smaller to get bigger.
Yeah.
Because the fun is watching people. We had events at the gym that were always, it was easy to watch. I mean, and it was exciting because, it was right there. I mean, people were, the screams you would hear when people would get an obstacle. I mean, it's not as fun when you're out in the middle of a forest and you hit that bell and there's nobody there, you know?
Right.
It's like if you're doing this continuous loop, so this thing will be 3 loops of the property. The first 2 loops, there will be a heavy carry on each one of those of about 300 meters. The last one, there will be no carry. It's basically 1,100 meters is the run with the carry, and then the one without, or the 2 with the carry, and the one without is going to be 800 meters. So it comes out exactly to the 5 or the 3K at the end. This first one is going to be very fast, if you are fast. We have a barn that has a gauntlet of obstacles in it that we don't anticipate, not positive, but we don't anticipate we're going to include that in there because it's pretty much just one lane. All of our obstacles have 3 lanes on them. So we're going to put people out kind of like a DECA. Like we've run so many DECAs now. We take a lot of inspiration from that too. There's no elite heat. There's no competitive heat. There's no open heat. You just sign up for a time. This is what happens with DECA as well. You know, it's whatever sign you sign up for, that's what you do. But 3 athletes go at a time. Every 30 minutes, it's a 40-minute cap. You know, whether you finish it or not, you know, we'll obviously rank people that finish, that keep their band on a finishers list, and then we'll have obviously a did not complete list, but there will still rank on there if they actually finish in the 40 minutes. You know, just like most races would do.
Yeah.
But
not all races though. I have gone to some that haven't done that. I was really disappointed where they're like, "Oh yeah, you don't have any results." I'm like, "The fuck, I don't." But,
yeah, exactly. Right. Give me something, right? Yeah,
yes.
No, we'll have results for everybody. But yeah, it'll be based on it's going to be a pretty fast course. That's what we're looking for, especially for this first initial one. We're not even sure exactly. Like right now in our rigs, we have 3 different levels set up. We have kind of a level 1, which is all rings. We have a level 2 that has a few more fun grips on it, and a level 3, which has a whole lot of other types of, you know, not so fun grips on it. So we want this to be accessible for everybody. Kind of like, again, what hybrid, you know, fitness has done so well is it has taken all of the elements, a lot of the elements of fitness, CrossFit, things like that people can just do an approach, right? Without a whole bunch of skill. You know, and you get into muscle ups and you know, a lot of like heavy lifts with barbells and stuff. There is an extreme amount of coaching and discipline and technique involved with that.
Yeah.
And while
handstand push-ups.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so we like that, you know, it's made it challenging but accessible is what it's found. And I think that, you know, if that's how we're going to kind of approach this one is we may very well just have rings on the rigs. We've got the 2 rigs. One's a low rig, the one you've seen Pat on.
Yep.
We have we call it Valkyrie. It's a little bit higher, maybe a little bit longer than an actual Valkyrie. It's flat at the top. So it's kind of more of an inverted and then elevated and then descending rig. But it's pretty tough, even, you know, with the rings on there. The idea really is going to be is for people coming in that have not a whole lot of experience in OCR, they're going to have a good shot at getting the obstacles. And if you are a beast, well, then you just better get the thing done in like 17 minutes or something, right? It's just, you're going to be flying. And, you know, if you don't vomit at the end, you didn't go fast enough.
Love it. And I love the, you know, going through like the list. I love the combination of the stations and obstacles. You mentioned the Spartan games, but also like TMX. Like, I feel like if TMX were to happen now, that would be huge, right? And it's really funny how like it was a great idea, but it was a little too soon. But it sounds, I kind of hope that that's kind of the future of OCR, because I find that to be really exciting, with the exception of the assault bike. Of course, no one likes that. But
well, unfortunately, our race is probably going to start with the assault bike. So yeah, it's, you know, you always got to have that thing to break everybody up. And it's like, if you've got a small property, it's like, the assault bike will break people up. So most likely, unfortunately, the first lap will start with that. But I totally agree in the TMX thing. Man, I had a guy in the beginning of the gym. His name was Victor. He's actually gone into personal training for himself now. Great dude. Received a ridiculously generous gift from this guy. Christmas of this year. We had a donation thing that was for the gym since we weren't taking any money, right? Just, kind of doing all these free classes. All of a sudden I found $1,000 in there. And I'm like, oh, like I was expecting $5, $10 here or there, $1,000. He contacts me and says, hey, he goes, now that I'm a personal trainer, he goes, I totally get what it was you did for me that first year that I was at the gym when you gave me the entire year for free, because he completed what at that time we thought was our toughest obstacle. No one else could do it. He basically went around the world in the entire gym. As years would have went on, it wouldn't have been nearly as tough. But when he did that, I'm like, okay, man, hey, look, money where my mouth is, right? I said you get a free year, did it. And he's like, hey, now I get it. Like, this game is like, this is cutthroat, man. He goes, you can't make any money. So yeah, it was very cool. I trained him for TMX when it was going on. He had a phenomenal time. He thought it was way harder than what he was expecting, even with the training that we did. Hunter at that time, I think, was the one that was just dominating it.
Monster, yeah.
Yep. And but that, again, I totally agree with you. That idea is what I envision for OCR. Like, I think I'd have more fun at High Rocks if I could hit a rig on the run.
Yeah.
And just like, again, like I want to hit a bell here or there, whatever, right? Like and I feel like that's kind of what the property is designed for. The rope climb and the Hercois has wall ball shot targets on it. Like, we've always incorporated all of that stuff. You're going to hit farmers carries a lot of times before you hit any big gauntlet of obstacles. Like, it all works so well together. And like you said, probably ahead of its time, maybe too soon, but TMX already had that down, man.
Yeah. I have a huge regret of like missing some events, and TMX was definitely one of them because it was only like 2 years or whatever. It
didn't last long, but I thought it was a great idea. It was it's a shame. Yeah, it feels like there is a place for it now, though. So like maybe maybe this podcast will get somebody's ideas going and maybe bring it back.
I would love that. Then in addition to the adult course too, I also saw that there was a 1 mile course for kids too. Yeah, so to talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah, so kids, it'll be this is again completely open to anybody. The parents can be in the course with them. In fact, we're going to require that they are in the course with them for the most part. We have right now been able to test out this course numerous times because the neighborhood kids are the ones that seem to love this place more than anybody else. So they every Saturday we have a kids class after the adult class, and we've got a group of about 8 kids now that are pretty consistent coming in and running the course. So they will not hit the Valkyrie rig. That part of the course will be off. That's a little bit high for them.
Yeah.
But they will be in the low rig. They will have a carry. They will have the wall. They will have I believe they're actually going to have 2 carries on it. And they will have the rope climb as well. There's a kid's rope climb out there that's a little bit shorter than the adult rope climb, which is, I think, about 22 feet high. So right now that's what we're looking at for them. We obviously, by June could throw in a few more surprises in there as well.
Right.
But yes, they will have a 1 mile loop of the course. That'll be the last hour of the day.
Love that. And then do you have any plans? I know you said you put racing aside to focus on this, but are there any other races that you're interested in doing for this year too, in addition to?
Yeah, so we knew we were going to go back to Illinois to help out Aaron and Dana with the setup for both Frontline and for
Midwest
OCR. Yeah. Again, they came here, did an incredible job in the property. They always do us a solid when it comes to, labor costs and things like that. So we always find a way to return the favor. So initially I thought, I'm going to go and do Frontline. I've done Frontline numerous times before. I've never done it yet with the vest. I actually had planned to do it with the vest, not last year, but the year before. And it turned out my daughter graduated on that exact day because it is that Memorial Day weekend often. That is. So obviously couldn't do that. Last year was just a year of chaos and moving here and all that stuff. So there was no racing last year. That was the plan. But now it turns out that Ed from Frontline actually wants me to be the MC at the race, which I have done once before. Coach Payne, who everybody knows, he was supposed to do it back in 2018, maybe 2017. I forget what year it was, but he had a family emergency, and I got a call the day before Frontline, and Ed's like, "Hey, do you think you could fill in for Coach Payne tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yes, as long as you make the announcement that Coach Payne's not going to be there, because I'm not going to be the guy that shows up and like, hey, where's Coach Payne? Like, no, you got this guy instead, right?
Yeah.
Like, no. Like, just you do that for me, and I'll do it." So
Coach Payne from Timu.
Yeah. So I guess it's like, okay, cool. So no, but so we're gonna go back for that. So won't be doing that one. We'll see about Midwest, maybe. As of right now, the only thing I will it would be hard not to do the Spartan race out here in Colorado Springs. I mean, we just moved from a state where they haven't been in years. So now to have one, a half hour away, that would seem it would seem stupid if I didn't do it. So most likely I will be doing that. My eyes are for Spartan. I usually go with the Ultra. That's the last 4 or 5 I've done have been the Ultra. That's usually my wheelhouse when it comes to the Spartan race. I don't know if I'm going to be ready. 30 miles here is a lot different than 30 miles. And the last one I did was Cincinnati, and the elevation there was significant. Did really well at it, but there's no altitude there.
Right.
This altitude, man, I'm, like I said, I feel like I'm doing okay with it, but, we did a 14-mile run yesterday, halfway up to Pikes Peak and back. And I came down thinking, I don't know, man. I don't know, another 15 miles is going to be, I don't know. So we'll see. But most likely that'll be the race that if I sign up for one this year, it'll be Spartan here in Colorado Springs, and then quite possibly Midwest OCR in the end of, I think, September 26th is the date for that one.
Okay. And then real quick, back to the Cincinnati Ultra too. I don't know if it was the one last year, but I think it was OCR Directory. They changed their name. I can't remember what it is now, but they posted the stats of it. And holy crap, did that, I thought New Jersey was bad where I DNF'd.
Yeah.
The DNF rate for Ohio is much larger. And I would not have expected that from Ohio, which is known to be flat typically. Apparently wasn't there.
I didn't believe it because, so I had done the year, it was 2024. I had gone and done New Jersey, which was the only Spartan Ultra that I ever DNF'd at. Went there a few years ago. Was not in the right mindset. You cannot be in the wrong mindset to do an ultra. It was, fighting a little bit of an injury, but it was way more in my head than anything else with that one. And I didn't have it, and actually did the thing you're never supposed to do. And I never have done and never did again since, and got to the transition area and said, nah, not today, and walked off. So I had to go back there for some redemption. I did. It was as tough as it, as I always remember it, is in that time of year that just sucks. In New Jersey, it's April, so it's it's always got to rain and be cold. You'd rather have it snow than rain and cold, and that mountain is just treacherous. It is so much. I just don't. We all know Killington is ridiculous, but I really think New Jersey gets underrated. It is tough. That mountain is treacherous. It is not friendly. It has got some of the most jagged, sharp rocks on it. It's tough. Went to Cincinnati thinking, well, at least it won't be that, because I had done Cincinnati before, just a sprint, but they had held, sprints there for years. And then I know a couple people at the gym from the team had done Cincinnati and said, one of the hardest things they ever did. And I'm like, I know it was hot and stuff. So, maybe that's what it was, but either way, went there and can totally vouch that it was, I think what it was, I did the ultra. I actually got first place in age group at that ultra. Nice. And I don't remember the entire thing being terrible. I remember one thing being terrible. And of course, you did the ultra, you had to do it twice. And you did it at the point in the race that was going to have the most impact on your memory, because it was right before transition or right before the finish line. And it was a sandbag carry up the hill in nothing but mud through the shape of the Spartan helmet. it was one of the most god-awful things I'd ever done. I have done so many stand bag carries and bucket carries, and this thing was, I mean, there's some photos where the look on my face is just like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like, you couldn't move. You'd climb up, you'd go a few steps, you'd slide down, drop the bag would now slide down the hill, you gotta grab the bag, and you're looking at the finish, you're like, it's right there. It's like, I just can't get to it. I think that really left people's memory. Like, you cross the finish line with that being your last experience in the course, and you're like, holy crap, that was the hardest thing. And it's tough. It was a tough one. Yeah,
definitely look brutal. And then any sponsors or people that you'd like to thank? You mentioned Rory a little bit too, but like, how is she been helping out with like balancing ownership of the facility?
Oh, she's incredible. I mean, she's right now, we would she's carrying the load right now for sure, as the business is still trying to get off we knew it was going to be like this, and she knew she was in for the long haul, but she is putting in hours upon hours in this very office right here. This is her therapy office. She is a marriage and family therapist. Tons of hours. I mean, she's working 10-hour days sometimes. I mean, and that's not an easy gig when you are, dealing with people one-on-one the entire time and stuff. I mean, so she's putting in ton. I couldn't do this with anybody else. Her work ethic is insane. And her dedication to what we're doing here and just our entire mission in life is second to none. She's just phenomenal. I don't, I've had my share of relationships over the years, and they haven't gone so well, but this one's going great. So, but yeah, I mean, again, Aaron and Dana, we couldn't do this without them. This is what they did for us out here is the same thing they did for us in Chicago. We get to come out of the property every day and have a full course on our property, and it's built the way it should be built.
Right.
But for the race coming up, actually, we've secured 3 sponsors already. Go Brewing, who started off pretty small in Naperville, so just outside of Chicago, so our old stomping grounds, has really gotten big. Now sponsors, I think he's for High Rocks and for Savage Race. We just saw them start to be on the shelves out here at King Supers in Colorado, so it's expanded out this far. So best non-alcoholic beer that I think you could possibly have.
Awesome.
I often, I come from the days of like, O'Doul's, where it's like, who the heck drinks non-alcoholic beer?
Right.
Now it's like he's got a place in Naperville, this brewery. It's so cool. The ambiance to it, the whole thing, it drives home non-alcoholic beer as being more badass than the beer that has alcohol in it. Like, there was workouts going there. He's got a mural of Chuck Norris on the garage door holding a beer, which we know Chuck Norris doesn't drink. And the slogan is "Remember Tomorrow." Phenomenal stuff. There's another brewery, actual, alcoholic brewery across the way. And you'd sit there and drink like a non-alcoholic beer and look over there and be like, you guys still got alcohol in your beer? You guys are losers, man. Like, it's like, now the cool thing is to not have alcohol in your, and yeah, so we're excited to have him once again. He supported a lot of our events in Chicago. Going to come through for us on this one too. And we've got Moink Box, which is a phenomenal, we, obviously big into health and fitness. We really watch what we eat. We were horrified to learn over the years that the most of the meat that comes to us here in America is not actually from America, or if it is, it's from farms that aren't even owned by American farmers anymore. So this is a relatively small company. They actually were on Shark Tank.
Okay.
They only source from a few local farms. You can actually see where the food is coming from.
I like that.
Some of the best tasting meat we've ever gotten. Price is not horrible. You also get what you pay for, obviously, but some of the best customer service, in fact, maybe the best customer service I've ever dealt with, because we live in a time now where it feels like you have to apologize for being a customer.
Yeah.
We have a problem. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm sorry I bought something at your store. We had IKEA we got all the furniture we lost in Chicago. We had to refurnish the house, obviously. So we had IKEA deliver some stuff. They ran into our fence and didn't want to fix it. It was like, well, it's on you. It's like, no. I wasn't driving that truck. Like, we hired a third-party company. It's like, cool. I didn't hire them either.
Yeah,
like,
you hold them accountable. Yeah.
Yep. So this company, they get it right all the time. And on the very few occasions they don't, there's somebody to talk to, not a machine.
Person.
And they handle it like that. Phenomenal company. We recommend them to everybody. So they're going to support the event as well. Who knows what they're going to bring? We're not quite sure just yet. But if they bring any of their food, it's going to be pretty awesome.
Good.
Yeah. So that's our two main ones right now. Obviously, besides Aaron and Dana, obviously, who is always our sponsors for stuff like this. So that's our main groups.
Love that. And I see their logo on one of your sleeves. On the other one, is that an Autobot from Transformers?
That is an Autobot logo. Yes, there's an Autobot logo there, and I have the Autobot and Decepticon there on the
that's awesome.
The Spartan. If you don't know this, and you may not care, but I am if there's a bigger Transformer fan out there, like, bring them at me. There's not, it's my second passion behind OCR. I've also put way too much money into it, just like but it's when you get it imprinted on your body, it must mean something to you. It's just one of those things. I think so. Most people don't know this story, but when they just figure I'm just some weirdo who plays with toys. It's like, no, I mentioned I got out of a lot of bad things as a kid. So teenage years, not good at all. A lot of police presence and other things. As I was trying to straighten life out again, you try to go back to something positive, right? And like, hey man, you're 7, 8 years old, you got no care in the world. What is the big deal, right? It's for me, it's like, well, what time is Transformers on, G.I. Joe, whatever, right? Like that was being a kid. I think a lot of people just kind of forget about it. Like they put it in the past and pack it away. It's like, man, that's so much a part of who you are. Like if you lost that, man, like, sorry for you. But like I reconnected with that. And it starts with one, all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I'm just going to go, because I sold all my Transformers as a kid. I wanted a Sega Genesis, which cost like $100. Which was in today's money is probably like 650, right? But like, it's one of those dumb moves you make where it's like, what do I have here for $100 that I can just make? And I sold all the Transformers, and it's just such a dumb move. So, I start coming back around, and I'm like, I went on eBay, and I'm like, I'm going to buy back an Optimus Prime. That's what I'm going to do. And then you can't get Optimus without Megatron.
No,
you can't get Megatron without Soundwave. And then before you know it, you got this entire room full of, and it's like, yes, one more credit to Rory. All of that stuff is, she doesn't think I'm out of my mind. But,
that's good. Yeah, I've got
a collection of toys.
I've got hundreds and hundreds of video games in the next, or the game room. So yeah, I get that. My grandfather always says, growing up, no. Getting older is mandatory. Growing up is optional. So
love it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a guy I listen to that reviews actually a lot of the Transformer stuff, and I believe his quote is, "You don't stop playing with toys because you get old. You get old because you stop playing with toys."
I like that. I love it. Awesome. Well, starting to come to a close. Where can people find out more about you and the facility?
HartFitOCR.com. Yep, pretty easy to follow. If they go to HartFitOCR.com, they will see the class schedule on there. It's pretty limited right now. We will add more classes as we get more demand. They can contact me anytime about open gym or personal training. Very flexible throughout the week for that. So they just contact me. There's a form on the site that they can just go ahead and fill out. Phone number is on there, email address, all that stuff. They can DM me on Instagram at HartFit Colorado Springs, or at Rodimus Ryan. Those are my two Instagram accounts. The Havoc at HartFit OCR 3K, they also can find by going to HartFitOCR.com as well.
Perfect. I'll link those all down below. And also shout out to I don't know if you're doing the video editing, if Rory's doing the video editing, but I was going through a whole bunch of the posts to like prepare for this interview. And man, those are well done. They got me really, really psyched up.
That was me, man. I will, it's, I put a lot of time into that.
It shows.
Thank you for noticing. Thank you for noticing, because I'm telling you, the amount of time you probably know, but yeah, a 30-second video, it's like 2 days worth of work.
Yeah, I started out with the video editing. I would do race videos, and all the time I put into it, and then I get like fucking 14 views. I'm like, what am I doing? So podcast is so much easier because it's like just audio, and I can just clip things. But the video and audio, it takes it's a lot. So I know. It's
crazy, man. It's crazy. It's worth it in the end. I just there's a level of passion behind like what I always wanted people to feel about the gym and about the team. I never wanted it to feel like it was just a place to work out. It's just like I wanted to make it seem like it really mattered. Like, I mean, it really did. I still, get a bit emotional talking about it now because it's like, man, just like there was so much behind that place and behind that team. And those people, and like I just tried my ass off to make sure that even in just a class, that it seemed like what you did was bigger than anybody else is doing, like down the street, whatever. I mean, it's like it's January and you're running around and climbing ropes and so yeah, I'm glad. I had always hoped that whether the team kept going or if we ever had to kind of step away and retire it, that those videos would kind of be a nice little historical marker reference and, to what it was all about.
Yeah.
And what we're still about. I mean, it's still that same level of passion and stuff now that we really want to try to present to people. And we'll keep doing it as soon as we get a few more people on the property here.
Yeah, I love it. That's a perfect place to wrap up. Again, Ryan, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show, and looking forward to hopefully seeing you in person in June.
You got it, Mike. Yeah. Hey, when you come out here for that visit to Red Rocks and stuff, hit us up, come by, check out the place. We'd love to have you by and, give you a little run of the course and stuff like that. I will warn you ahead of time. If I actually give you a workout, I won't do what I did to VJ and them. But yeah, we'd love to have you by, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Glad we finally got to connect, and we'll talk soon.
Perfect.
Welcome back.
Thank you to Ryan Hart. Be sure to check out his facility in person if you're in the area. We will be when we're in the area. That's a plan. Follow the gym on Instagram, check out their website, and take on their Havoc at HartFit on June 20th. Unfortunately, we're going to be there the weekend before.
Oh, yeah.
Which is wild.
That is wild.
so close. But yeah, thanks for taking the time to come on the show. And yeah, hope this event is a hit.
Related episodes, episode 301.
This was OCR World Championships with team relay races and 100-meter finals with elites. This is when we had one of his team Flatliners on. I believe it was 3 women. I can't remember their names. I can remember one name, and I'm not going to name it because I can't remember the other ones.
That's fair. And episode 458.
Much more recent, Run the Rocks 5K at the Red Rocks in Colorado. The one episode that we've done in Colorado, and the reason, somewhat reason why we're going back to Colorado, because we're going for a concert at the Red Rocks.
Oh, yeah. Well, guess we didn't have to do that 5K after all.
Oh, no, I'm so glad we did. I'm looking up as if we had a medal for it, but we didn't get a medal.
We did have a medal for it.
Is it not up there?
It's like...
Oh, it's the super tiny one. Yeah. Which is fine, because it was for a charity.
Again, they don't usually do medals, but since it was the 20th year.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Subscribe and follow wherever you get your podcasts. We're Obstacle Running Adventures and all of the podcast players.
Yeah, you can leave a review, but more than anything, if you could share the show with a friend, that is how we keep doing this.
Yep. You can support us on Patreon for as little as $2 or as many as $10, but do it on the website and not in the app because the Apple app will charge you more.
Yeah. We're on the social medias. You can like and follow us there. Coming up next, we mentioned it a little bit in the intro, but I'll be at City Field and Caitlin will be doing Fit Trail. So come and say hi if you see either of us.
Yeah, or if I look like I'm dying in the trails because I just realized they're not going to be shoveled.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
It's going to be, 8.2 miles of
I don't think
knee-deep snow.
If it is as bad as the trails that I had to do with Lucy, that would be really bad.
Oh, gosh.
We'll see. I'm sure Rob McCoy will be out there with a flamethrower.
Yeah, probably actually.
And also, if you see me struggling at City Field, I'll be doing a lot of burpees. I'm expecting that. I just want my back to hold up. That's all I want. Okay, then got a joke because I found a quote.
I do. Why was the dog such a good storyteller?
Woof, bark, tails. He had a tail? I don't know.
That would be good. Because she knew how to pause for dramatic effect.
Nice. And my quote that I saw just as I sat down to first record the intro, it just went away, but luckily I screenshotted it. I recently came across the rubber ball and glass ball theory. It honestly shifted something in me. Every day we're juggling so much. Work, the house, messages, commitments, expectations, family. It can feel relentless. But here's a perspective that stopped me in my tracks. Not every ball that we're holding is the same. Some are rubber. They can drop, the missed workout, the unanswered email, the laundry that waits, the plans you reschedule. They bounce, they recover, they're forgiving. But some are glass, and those are sacred. The bedtime chats, the slow mornings, the laughter around the dinner table, the quiet moments with your partner, the ordinary days that don't look big at the time, but one day you realize they were everything. Glass doesn't bounce, it breaks. I'm learning that success isn't about keeping every ball in the air perfectly. It's about knowing which ones you can let fall and which ones you need to protect. Because in the end, it won't be the perfectly managed schedule that defines our life. It'll be the moments we chose to guard. Guard the glass, let the rubber bounce.
I love that. I've actually heard that before.
Have you? I hadn't seen that before. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, but I think one of us needs to hear that more than the other one of us.
Yeah, you guys at home can guess who. But that just wraps it up. My name is Michael Stefano.
My name is Keelan Ritter.
We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform
So you don't miss our future episodes.
We would greatly appreciate it if you write a review.
Reach out with feedback on social media.
And most importantly, share the show
With a friend or family member.
Our intro song was Streaker by Straight Up.
And our outro music is Iron Paw by The Best.
Hey man, how's it going?
Going on, Mike? How are you?
Pretty good. This is super overdue, so I'm glad to finally have you on.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I can't believe I've never got on with you guys. It's I felt the exact same way. I'm like, how have we not done this before?
I know. I was looking through. I'm like certainly we've had him on a guest sometime, and I was looking through. And I'm like, I've had like your teammates on, like the Flatliners. But I'm like, yeah, no, it hasn't worked out until now. But hopefully,
man, we're all busy. It's life gets away from me. It's crazy, man. I just obviously been a fan of the show for a long time, and like, yeah, I'm like, how come I never actually got? Whatever. Here we are.
Awesome. Right. We can end it there. Yeah, I'm definitely not in VJ Jones shape right now. The DNF hit me harder than I thought, and I'm like, I didn't give up, but I think I kind of gave up, and so yeah. I'm building back to stuff. So yeah, the treadmill is going to be helpful, but I need to like get out and start signing up for things and doing things again. So
totally, it's tough, man. It is. It's tough. It's just that DNF is that first thing. I remember I saw one of these before, a DNF sticker you could put on your car, and I saw one, and I'm like, after I DNF'd that one race, I'm like, I'm going to own this. I'm going to get that sticker, and I put it right in the back of the truck. And people are like, hey man, take that off. I'm like, no, man, I got to own it. I got all these other things on here for the things I accomplished. Like, I got to stare at that every day.